Hello and welcome to Reviews. Now, I have sat on this issue for a couple days now, and it's Friday night. I bought it on Wednesday because I recognized the cover. I remember seeing an ad of it, and I've been debating about actually doing a video on it because despite the fact that it says it's rated T plus, this is not aimed at anyone over the age of 10. This is a kid's comic aimed at girls. And I know I'm not the target audience of this book, so it's very hard for me to actually feel like I can speak critically of it. Um, it's still kind of dumb, but it's almost like me talking about how the Wiggles is not really a good band. I'm not the target audience here. Um, but the fact that they do rate it T plus, and I happen to be T plus, so I guess it's fair. But anyway, before I do that, I just want to give one last reminder. Tomorrow I will be announcing the winner of the Walgreens exclusive thing figure I'm giving away. So this is your last chance. If you want to win this, all you need to do is subscribe if you have not already, and then leave a comment saying which figure you would like to see Walgreens do. I'm curious. Um, I mentioned in my last video that I'm kind of torn now. I want a Vindicator, but now I think I want a Diamondback figure too to put with a cap. So, and they've put out a few Serpent Society figures, so I want a Diamondback to go with it. So, anyway, on to the issue. I'm gonna make this quick because there's a lot of words in it, but I think I could skip a lot. Um, but I'm going to start off with a couple things. I really do not know much about this version of the Wasp. I know that she's the daughter of Hank Pym's first wife that was supposedly dead. But for some reason, she has his second wife, the first Wasp. She's taken her last name. There's previous volumes to this, and I'll be honest, I haven't read them. I have no inclination to because we had a perfectly good character with Janet Van Dyne as the Wasp who was dead and came back. Um, why we need to make a young version, I don't know. But anyway, I enjoyed this. We got the Wasp coming at us. This this crew, her Burger King's kid crew of various ethnicities here, and we got make sure you got the disabled one. Girl is not a new thing. They did this in a previous volume, I believe, and so I don't know if these characters are new or if they're from that. I don't care. I bought this issue because the art team, I'm gonna butcher this, Guri Hiru, they did some of Gwenpool. I mentioned before I read Gwenpool. I just went back and finished the series not long ago, and I loved it. I loved Gwenpool. And so, while manga is not really my usual style, I'm not really into it, you know, I can look past it, and especially since they're trying to go with, and I said that this is a young girl's comic, and manga is really popular with girls. I know a lot of women, adult women, that love manga, that would not even want to pick up a comic book. Um, but having said that, the the girls you're trying to attract with this, unless you're doing a scholastic thing in schools, they're just going to buy manga. And to be honest, this book is $3.99. A couple issues of this, and you have a full price manga that's a hell of a lot thicker. So, you know, if you're attracting, you're trying to go for that girl audience, that young girl audience, they're going to just go for manga. And I know there's the whole big STEM push for girls, which, hey, I work in STEM myself. I've worked with some brilliant women. I'm all for women going into STEM. Um, but this is almost condescending in it, in how they do it. Let me just get into this issue. I'm almost 5 minutes in. I want to do this quickly. Yeah, opening page. We start off with Janet Van Dyne is calling Nadia to tell her that she needs to go deal with AIM. AIM is breaking into a building, specifically being led by this woman named Seeker. Um, that they're trying to steal something, and Wasp has to go catch them. But silly Wasp is getting a driving lesson from Jarvis in Mockingbird's flying car. Okay, if you're going to give drivers lessons, you don't do it in a flying car. You have her drive around the block a little bit. You don't just take her up in a flying vehicle. You would think you work up to that. I don't know how these things even get licensed. I'm just happy to see Jarvis is still alive. Um, so yeah, we have Nadia Van Dyne, the Unstoppable Wasp, Girl Genius, Hank Pym's long lost daughter, founder of Genius in Action Research Labs. Seriously, this bugs me. Genius in Action Research Labs. That's what GIRL is an acronym for. Um, it works if you take out action. Genius in Research Labs. You could have come up with a better I. That's all I'm saying. It sounds stupid. Um, but another thing I want to point out here is they use white all caps in this really dark red. I like this. I like this because I can read it. So while Nadia is talking with Jarvis saying how she has to go take down AIM, they switch to a brighter red caption with lowercase white letters. I've mentioned in previous videos I have trouble reading this, and I really squinted and got really close and realized they're talking about drifting and pulling the brake on cars. I'm like, this is not adding to the story. This is stupid. Yeah, we see that she's driving and, she's being kind of wild, Fast and Furious style. There's a lot of wasted things here. So I'll be honest, I stopped reading these captions. They were not helping the story, so um, so yeah, Jarvis is trying to tell her not to do it, but oh no, she's her own girl. She's gonna go off and do it anyway. And then we we go to the Genius in Action Research Labs. Girl, that's just that's a dumb abbreviation. Um, technically, it's an acronym, I know, but still dumb. And they've got this little setup with the whole wasp thing here, and this little console they all sit at. If the chairs were facing the other way, it would remind me of that episode of Red Dwarf where the not Better Than Life, Back to Reality, where they're playing the virtual reality game. So we get introduced to the her other partners and girl, and it's kind of interesting. So we have Tanya here, Puerto Rican engineer, robot maker, grumpy mechanic. Wait, do we really need to point out Puerto Rican? Okay. We have Prira Agarwal, biologist, daughter of Indian immigrants, fashionable. Okay, you see, we're starting to hit the problem here. Why is this important? Why is any of this important? That she's Puerto Rican, that she's daughter of Indian immigrants. That's really not important. It really isn't. We can tell. She's not blonde and white. It doesn't matter. Here, fashionable. We see that. Just draw her in comparison wearing a more fashionable outfit. Janet Van Dyne in the old Avengers book. You knew she was fashionable. She was always talking about it. You didn't need to just come out and label her. So we come up here, we have the other two members, Ying, Red Room Orphan, Genius Chemist, Trained Assassin. And she's sitting here marking up on the board and dancing, listening to whatever music it is. While the other girl, Priscilla Shea Smith, world-class physicist, snazzy dresser, tiny gay disaster? What does that mean, tiny gay disaster? Okay, are they talking about her physically? Because she doesn't look much smaller than the other ones, which I guess in a comic book where a girl can shrink, that's relative. But tiny gay disaster? And here's the other thing. We don't need this. You don't need that. You know why? Because you can see she's sitting here watching the other girl dance, um, kind of daydreaming. And she's even sitting here with literal hearts in her eyes. We figured it out. This is what I'm talking about when I say Marvel Comics, the writers, they always break the show don't tell rule. They're telling us tiny gay disaster, which I don't even know what that disaster bit means. But we get it. We see this. You don't need to tell us. You don't need to tell us these things. You don't need to waste the time. But anyway, oh, it gets silly. Her daydreaming and she's, doing female gaze at her unsuspecting co-worker girl. She gets walked in on and starts, freaking out. She's been startled or whatever. Yeah, it's stupid. Um, so now it's time to play Red Dwarf. I mean, start doing the whole mission control that they're doing. So this is kind of a neat thing. We get the whole little Voltron, thing, and I wonder which one's supposed to be Pidge, um, where they're controlling these drones. And yeah, there's a bunch of goofy stuff here. Deploying the drones, we have to come up with a cooler name for these. But a drone is literally a type of wasp. So yeah, they're controlling these little drones that Nadia shoots from her wrist. Okay, I'm down with this. Here's where I think it gets a little dumb. So she shoots a ray to enlarge them. Okay, that's fair. That's kind of cool. And then she shrinks down and rides them to the destination. Okay, wouldn't it make more sense? She can fly already. Why doesn't she get close, shoot them when they're small, and let them, get into the building that way? It'd be a lot easier and harder to notice if they're shrunk down, and she wouldn't need to ride them. Then she can shrink down herself and make them big as they're inside the building. Um, because we get the one that can actually phase into the wall, but just the one time. And so she gets the lay of the land. Finds out that the Seekers here as well as the AIM agents, but they've got a tank here out on the crosswalk, and nobody's noticing this in the middle of the day, judging by his shadow. Okay, I need to skip some pages here. Where am I going to skip? Yeah, I'll skip this page because it's basically, as they're sneaking up, they shoot a couple guards with tranks. So they shoot one in the butt. How funny is that? And one of the guards sees the drone hovering above them and shoots it out of the sky, um, which would not have been a problem had it been shrunk down. So yeah, so now Janet riding the other drone, um, decides to go after the tank. And again, I can't read what's going on in here. I'm not even going to bother hurting my eyes, but I imagine it has something to do with what the drone's doing and her melting the, the tank with acid. Oh, and then they try to be funny. Oh no, I desperately feel I should have a one-liner for this. Say thanks for playing. Yes, you're so clever. Thanks for playing. Really? No, you're not clever. So we cut over to the little subplot where they're trying to get funding, I guess, for the um, girl genius and action labs. They're trying to get the investors, and again, here we get with the whole affirmation thing. We got the one action girl's sister here with Janet Van Dyne, who feels out of her element, but Jan's telling her, hey, you've got this. Trust me, I know these things. I'm a tastemaker. I've saved the world. I think you're special. And now, are you calling my judgment into question? Because we're what? Special. That's right, you're special. I'm special. Let's go. We're all special. Yeah. Affirmation. So they do the little presentation, and there's an interesting thing here, which has us wondering how many other girls are out there struggling to be noticed? How many young men could, with a little support, open up new ways of thinking about our world? Now, they have mentioned in here about bringing boys into girl. That sounds funny. Um, but yeah, what boys, teenage geniuses would want to join a group called girl? You've labeled it wrong. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anyway, back to the plot. Oh, it's me, the Wasp, by the way. Yeah, you know what? My son used to do this. He used to enter a room and, oh, it's me, and say his name. He did that when he was 6, okay? And yeah, I think we laughed once, so we kept doing it every single time after that. She's not 6. Stop acting like a child. And, so I broke your tank and your friends. I was just hoping we could discuss your peaceful surrender. So then, silliness, we get them shooting each other, and you guys are giving science a bad name. Um, she's gone again. If she gets the Seeker, the Scientist Supreme is going to have our heads. You will get sick of the word science, by the way. Um, you know what? I don't think your science gun is ridiculous enough. Let me help you. Yeah, then she makes the gun big and crushes the guy, and, uh, poor guy had tickets to see Dazzler. What, Dazzler's turning and there's still tickets? Nope, you're asleep. And then she runs into Seeker, who's carrying a box. Hey, you must be Seeker. Um, I tried to solve this peacefully, but they shot at me with their science guns. Stop, stop, stop. Just because you put the word science in front of things does not make it so. Because technically, a regular revolver is science. If you want to talk about physics, it is still science. You don't see Captain Kirk getting up in the space morning, having space waffles and space eggs for space breakfast. Stop this. Just because she says the word science does not make this just, STEM friendly. Stop it. You sound like people who know nothing about science trying to sound like you're all pro science. Sorry, I work in a STEM field. This kind of stuff kind of pisses me off. And you know what? I want more women in STEM. Go. If this comic gets girls interested in science, I am all for it. If it gets them into STEM, good. It's not going to, though. It's not going to. So we have a stupid little fight here. Turns out that Nadia tried to recruit Seeker to be in girl, but instead Seeker decided to join AIM, and she ends up teleporting away. Oh, but not before dropping a little bit of knowledge. I'm working with AIM. They understand what's coming, what Hank Pym will do to us. Amber, what are you talking about? Hank Pym is my dad, and he's dead. And so she still thinks that Hank Pym is dead. She doesn't know that he is kind of merged with Ultron. So we get a little epilogue where she calls up Jarvis and asking about her father. And, if I thought anything of your father was still alive, you'd be the first to know. If I thought anything of your father was still alive. If I thought any. That's just kind of weirdly phrased. I think I get what they're trying to say, but it doesn't sound right. That's what I thought. I just wanted to be sure, because no one told me he hit Janet before, and really, Hank Pym is known for pretty much two things now: founding member of the Avengers, and he hit Jan. Okay, he did smack Jan. He backhanded her when he was going through a psychotic episode, and he thought he was a different person called Yellow Jacket. Yeah, I'm not condoning domestic abuse, but this is a little bit not the norm, okay? It's not like he woke up one day and hit Jan because he tripped over a shoe, okay? At some point, let the guy redeem himself or live it down or something. Peter Parker hit Mary Jane when she was pregnant during the Clone Saga. No one ever brings that up, do they? No, they don't. The way they do this, they should bring up the fact that Captain Marvel gave birth to her own boyfriend back in Avengers 200 in that really god awful story. Yeah, they do bring that up once in a while, and then they decide not to talk about it. Imagine if they brought that up every single time Captain Marvel came up in conversation, and they should. So, anyway, rant aside, I'm sorry, Hank Pym should get more love. And he's become the butt monkey of the Marvel Universe, and it kind of pisses me off. Um, so she comes in, and they all cheer her on. Congratulations! Basically they got the funding. They're going to do the Girl Expo, and pretty soon the brilliant boys and girls of every high school in the Northeast will be coming to show off their big ideas. That's great. There's one catch. It's 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks? We have to have inventions ready in 2 weeks? So all the girls and boys from all the schools, they also have to arrange transportation to have inventions ready in 2 weeks as well? Um, yeah, you're not the only one this is going to fail. You're going to need a ball pit and charge people to use the ball pit to get them to come in, because this is. I don't know why everyone's so excited about this, and yeah, I'm not even going to read this. Um, yeah, this is aimed at children. I read some Gem and the Holograms comics that were better than this. And then they do this weird interview where it's Nadia, the Wasp, interviewing a real person, Julie Seven Sage. Um, this is a real person. I actually did look this up and even saw the picture that this is based on. And yeah, she's a like 14-year-old girl who's started her own stuff, going into STEM. Really, really good inspiration. She is, I good on her. Good on her. Um, whoops, I almost dropped my phone. I'm only mentioning this because there's an interesting thing down here. How long have you been reading comics? Do you have any other favorites? Um, some of my favorite comics right now are Princeless and Raven the Pirate Princess, both written by Jeremy. Jeremy Whitley. Interesting, eh? She just happens to read the two other comics that he writes. Just, And then we have the next issue with the tag team of the two Wasps. What is this now? We have to have the old and young characters. We have the two Hawkeyes. They were sharing a book. Now they're in West Coast Avengers together. We don't. Why just not give her a new name? Why do we have to do this? And yeah, here's the other series that they've done before, which I don't care. So yeah, I find it very hard for me to rip on this book. This book is dumb, but I'm not the target audience. The target audience is not going to be interested in this book, even with the pseudo manga style. And to be honest, I didn't mind the art. I thought the art was okay. It is what it is, and I didn't think it was bad. But yeah, this is one of my problems I have with a lot of the current Marvel comics, and you saw this in Hellcat, really bad in Squirrel Girl, and you see it in here. There's no conflict. It's all affirmations. People telling each other how great they are, and everyone's happy-go-lucky. There's no type of conflict. There's nothing that needs to be overcome. And see, like I said, I bought this because the art team did Gwenpool. And I went back and read Gwenpool, and I loved it. Gwenpool she doubted herself. She did not win every single time. She actually had to earn what she got, and she failed sometimes. She got depressed. She fell, into lows, and then she rose above it. That's the hero's journey. You don't see that in these comics. You don't see that in Squirrel Girl. You don't see it in Wasp. You see all just this affirmation because we're girls and we science, and That's not interesting. It really isn't. You know, maybe like a Twinkie, it's good the first time. But if you get a diet of this, you're just going to end up with diabetes with nothing substantial. But again, this isn't aimed at me, so um, yeah, don't buy this. Don't even buy this for your kids. Um, I don't even know. I'm not picking up the next issue, so that's all I'm going to say about that. So, thanks for watching, and remember, subscribe and leave a comment about what Walgreens should do next for a chance to win this figure. Winner will be announced tomorrow, so I might do another video to go with it, or I might just, I haven't decided. This was kind of a small week for me, comics-wise. There really wasn't a lot that interested me, and so maybe I'll do that Shuri comic, even though I know nothing about Black Panther. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.